A brief history of the pale Starborn. In the third year of the 428th cycle, that is the 76th year after Emperor Monomakh Snezhnyi raised the imperial capital upon the frozen earth. Kitsa was the first city of all of Snezhnaya. This imperial capital was built after the custom of the Fey ancestors, remaining the center of power over the frozen lands from the fourth year of the 417th cycle, that is the year of its founding, until His Majesty the Emperor, in his boundless mercy and grace, pardoned humanity and gave them membership in his realm, moving his seat to Snezhnograd. The Emperor dispatched envoys onto the fiefs of the villa, and said unto them, "To whom do you offer tribute?" They answered, "Unto King Mstislav." Mstislav, known in the Volkhov Chronicles as the Blood Devourer, the great ruler of all Volkodok, the wise blood drinker, the master of the Mstislavi alliance. According to the Volkodov under his command, King Mstislav was a hulking figure, standing out even upon great battlefields like a mighty mountain. As such, he was also known by Fey chroniclers as Gorinish, or Son of the Mountain, and the imperial emissaries said unto them, "Do so no longer, for they demand unlovely tribute." The term lovely, as pointed out in the theory of Fey language, can also be translated in our modern context as beneficial, lovable, or endearing. It should be evident that these words meant rather similar things in those days. The meaning of the Emperor's envoy's words, therefore, should be understood to mean their demand for tribute from you is undesirable, or perhaps unbeneficial to you. Some scholars have such interpreted the envoy's words as a veiled threat. For more relevant information, as well as the precise semantic scope of this term, please refer to the discussion found within The Theory of Fey Language. And the villa did cease their tithings. The fourth year of the 428th cycle. The fifth year of the 428th cycle. In the sixth year of the 428th cycle, King Mstislav spoke to his people, his kin, and his confederates, accusing the Pale Star Court of breaking the standing peace agreement. He demanded that the emperor pay tribute for 10 years, the grain of 600 granaries in gold to fill 30 storehouses, and sufficient slaves to transport such bounty. This was 30 times the amount that had been demanded of the villa. The emperor rejected this ultimatum, and both sides prepared for war thereafter. Even to the eye of later generations, Mstislavi, the realm established by the wise amongst the Volkodlak, was entirely preposterous in its accusations against the Pale Star's royal court. Yet the accusations were not wholly unreasoned, or rather King Mstislav, king of the Volkodlak, whose kingdom bore his name, sought to provoke war for a truer purpose, that is, his fear of the Pale Star court's rise since the previous conflict. Under Emperor Monomakh, the alliance centered around Kitsagrad developed an entirely new character over the course of the century. It rapidly advanced both in economy and governmental structure. To allow Emperor Monomakh to gain the upper hand in this tug of war was the anathema to King Mstislav, thus the war that would ultimately shape the destiny of this continent, shrouded in silver snow. The emperor said, "To sacrifice ourselves for the homeland is honorable. Let our comrades in this be our swords and our love. Our enemies proclaim peace, for they wish to stir up war. Should we shamefully give in to them, meaning the Volkodlak, our sons and daughters shall face war greater still. Thus let us fight bravely for our survival. Let us taste the honeyed wine of victory, or let us make of ourselves a glorious oblation." In the 7th year of the 428th cycle, King Mstislav launched an assault among Kitsa, the head of the great host. The Mstislavi clans marched with him, as did the people of Njomgarter. The Njomgarter were Vodolak of the bovine aspect, Dalegrad. The Dalegrad were a clan of water imps. Cernareka. The Cernareka were the Volkodlak with wolf-like appearances, and their numerous servants, primarily military retainers. 3 times the armies clashed at Kitsa. In the foothills, at the frozen lake, and on the plains, the emperor slew King Mstislav and many princes who followed him. King Mstislav took personal command in these 3 large-scale battles against the emperor. Legend has it that driven by despair in that final battle, he sought to use the power of the Shadow Realm to delay the advance of the Pale Star Court's forces. Though this measure failed to turn the tide, it did have an impact on the emperor's future decisions. Please refer to A History of the Snezhny Expedition for detailed records of said 3 battles. It is worth noting that out on the flank, the Spekin Legion had received orders from King Mstislav to pursue and prevent imperial forces from uniting. Yet they were mysteriously misled by the icy fog that day. Misjudging their route in advance, they missed their opportunity to strike and could not prevent the imperial forces from linking up. This ultimately caused the defeat of Mstislav's forces in a head-on clash. This incident has been recorded by a great many historians, but the cause of the sudden shift in the weather remains unknown. King Mstislav was eventually slain when the emperor's spear pierced through his head. It is said that the bear-shaped skull, large as a chariot, now housed in the Zapoliani Palace treasury, still bears the marks left by that spear. Grand Duke Chereviki was fortunate to escape with his life. Chereviki, the Grey Wolf, so the Volkov chronicles record, ruler of Sirnareka, a cunning wolf known for his agility, said to have engaged in clandestine dealings early in the war with Porfiri, the minister then in charge of the Pale Star's finances. Following the fall of King Mstislav's rule, he was the sole Fey Grand Duke to slip immediately and effortlessly into the ranks of the ministers in the Pale Star's royal court. As such, some scholars believe that the failure of the Shipykin Legion under his command to pursue battle at the critical moment was no mere accident, though this hypothesis can't be considered supported by sufficient evidence. After the war, he was honored by Emperor Monomach, then already known as the Bely Tsar, with the ceremonial tap of the longsword on his shoulder. Skodirit, known as the Deepwood Bull in the Volkov Chronicles, Grand Duke of Nyomgarter under Mstislav's command. During the second campaign, he proposed lending the elite a vanguard to circle around the rear of the Pale Star Court's forces. He planned to launch a surprise attack and force them into an ambush zone, while the main army would encircle said zone and strike. However, intelligence regarding this strategy was seized by a Fey who had infiltrated King Mstislav's army, Filipov, loyal to His Majesty the Emperor and most skilled in transformation techniques. The Emperor adjusted his plans accordingly. Grand Duke Skodirit's surprise attack ironically led him to become deeply encircled by the Pale Star's royal army. The Pale Star forces entrapped his, all the while destroying any arriving relief columns, causing King Mstislav's forces to suffer a catastrophic defeat in the second battle. The Grand Duke was then slain in this battle when His Majesty the Emperor's spear pierced his chest. And Vodianoi, given the appellation the Lackland by the Volkov Chronicles, ruler of Dalegrad, forebear of all waterborn in the frozen lake, a warrior of unparalleled valor, yet a brute like no other, skilled in launching surprise attacks from beneath the ice. Towards the end of the second campaign, the Grand Duke of the Domovoi, Alvis, turned his legions beyond the frozen lake through cunning strategy, killed when the Emperor's spear pierced his chest. Were pierced by the Emperor's spear and slain. The Emperor's spear, those unfamiliar with the battlefield often question many descriptions in the battle accounts, including the records of him wielding it to slay the enemy commanders as the two armies fought it out. Most skeptics typically argue that given the size of the armies and the commanders' positions within their formations, it would have been almost impossible for the commanders to engage in direct combat amidst the chaotic melee. The following must be clarified. The Emperor's feat of piercing the enemy commanders with his spear did not occur as the result of a direct engagement. Rather, the spear was used as an arrow, launched with force unimaginable by common knowledge, piercing through the battlefield. In his mercy and love, the Emperor sought their bodies out and had them returned to their clans for burial. The Emperor said thus, "They were not kings, nor born of sacred blood. Never were they meant for rulership. Yet heir to the Pale Star and protector of all Fey am I." A sacred bloodline, the meaning of which is unknown. Emperor Monomach laid claim to the title Lord of all Fey, and as such, he should have been the same blood as the other fairies. It would seem that he merely used Freys as a means to establish legitimacy. Thus did the remaining clans of the Fey seek an audience with him, and thus did he gain the authority to govern them. From that day forth, he named himself the Bely Tsar. The first year of the 799th cycle. In the 4th month of this year, Anastasia Feodorovna was crowned Tsaritsa of all Snezhnaya. Many of the Fey princes did not come onto Snezhnograd to seek an audience with her. The Dalegrad clan broke ties with Snezhnograd, for Emperor Monomach had passed away. In the second year of the 799th cycle, the humans of Port Belovodia, taking advantage of Emperor Monomach's demise, declared self-governance in the winter, rebelling against the Fey princes. Grand Duke Darogorai launched an assault against them, but failed to secure victory. In the 3rd year of the 799th cycle, Tsaritsa Anastasia deployed troops to attack the forces of the independent government, occupying the territory of the Rarogorai, Volkovan, and Serraneka clans among the way. Charging them with negligence and condoning rebellion, their princely titles as rulers of these territories were revoked, their positions taken over by non-hereditary officials. Unlike Emperor Monomach, she did not muster the Ruchna, but rather established a force known as the Fatui. It was they who conquered the lands of the Fey princesses. Grand Duke Rarogonai accused the Tsaritsa herself of treason and met the Fatui with his own forces, and there he perished. On the 10th day of the 3rd month, the Tsaritsa dispatched envoys to Port Belovodie. They calmed the separatist forces and requested that they hand over the instigators of the rebellion, promising amnesty to all others. The request was accepted, and thus did the port escape being leveled. On the 23rd day of that same month, she then sent emissaries to all the Fey princes who had not yet come seek an audience with her. She demanded they hand over all their authority, promising that they would retain their honorary titles as aristocracy. Many would pass on before they could make their replies, and those who remained acceded. Thus did Tsaritsa Anastasia take control of the north. In the 4th year of the 799th cycle, the Tsaritsa bade the Fatui build a new fortress near Snezhnograd. Its name would be Glupov, meaning the city of fools. The 5th year of the 799th cycle. In the 6th year of the 799th cycle, the Tsaritsa established the Snezhnograd Vehe to handle the administrative issues caused by the absence of the various princes. The human, Ioanna Ivanova, was appointed its first chairperson. In the 7th year of the 799th cycle, the Imperial Order of Reformation Edict was published. Many great princely fae, deeply grateful for the Tsaritsa's mercy and virtue, voluntarily forsook their noble titles and departed Snezhnaya.